All right, we're back. Welcome back after Easter break. Hope you guys had good couple days off of your schoolwork. This week, the unit that we're going to be focusing on is called right triangle trigonometry. So, first question that we're going to ask here is, what is trigonometry? Okay, so that's our question. Sorry, my computer keeps glitching here. But trigonometry is it's just basically the study of triangle measurement. Triangle measurement. All right, so we're basically going to talk about measuring sides. We're not going to do too much with angles, at least this week. We might actually do that next week, but we're going to be studying triangle measurement, side measurement, really is what we're going to be doing. But what you have to know, this lesson is just a one page quick lesson, but basically here what we're going to be doing is we're going to find some what we call trigonometric ratios. Now a ratio is just a comparison of two sides in a triangle. So we have some special names. Now they look kind of funny here. I'm going to change colors. The sign right there, that E helps us to remember it's really called the sign. On your calculator, it shortens it and it just puts an SIN. So it just takes the first three letters, but it's not a sin. It is a sign. But the sign is always a ratio of the opposite of the angle to the hypotenuse. So if you're asked for the sign of angle A right here, notice here's my angle. So there's the angle that I'm looking at. So I go to the opposite right there. So if I go across, my opposite right there is going to be that A. So it's going to be the ratio of A to the hypotenuse. Now remember, hypotenuse is always across from the right angle. That's always your hypotenuse. So that C is my hypotenuse right there. Okay. We'll go back and do angle B in just a second. We're going to go on to the cosine. Okay, again, they shorten this one in the calculator and it's spelled just cos, but it really stands for the cosine. This is another ratio. It's the ratio of the adjacent side. So basically, when I label my triangle, which is what you're going to want to do first every single time, I always go to my angle, go across from it, and call that the hypotenuse. Go to my right angle, go across, call that this was supposed to be the opposite. So go across, and that's called the opposite. Then go to your right angle, go across, that's your hypotenuse. The other side is going to be the adjacent side. So those three words are always going to be what you label your triangle. Okay, the adjacent, opposite, and the hypotenuse. All right, so when you're looking at this A again, the cosine of A, it's the ratio of the side that's adjacent. So this adjacent side, which was B, compared to the hypotenuse, which our hypotenuse was our C again. Okay, and then the last ratio we have here is called the tangent. And again, they'll shorten that to tan on your calculator. And it's the ratio of the side opposite to adjacent. So opposite goes on the top right there. That A is going to go on the top. And then your adjacent right there is your B. So that's the tangent. All right, now we're going to go back and look at the angle B. Okay, so these were all done with angle A being the angle that we looked at. So now we're going to say, I'm going to pull this down here and we're going to look at B. Now this angle, the C, is still the hypotenuse. This guy is still good. It's across from the right angle. That one doesn't change. However, now when I go across from B, this opposite needs to move up there and the adjacent is going to move down there. Okay, that's the only difference right there. So when I'm writing in my sign of B, sign is still the opposite to the hypotenuse. So the opposite to the hypotenuse is going to be B over C. B over C. And then the cosine right here is the adjacent to the hypotenuse. So the adjacent to the hypotenuse, or A over C. And then the tangent of B is the opposite over the adjacent. So opposite over the adjacent, which is going to give me B over A. right there. Okay, now you're thinking, how in the world am I ever going to remember all these opposite, hypotenuse, adjacents, and all that lovely stuff? Well, don't worry. We've got a little acronym for you that that's going to help you to remember it. And here it is. It's kind of a nonsense word, but it is SOH, S-O-H, ka. It's really fun to say as well. SOHCAHTOA. Okay, soak your toe. SOHCAHTOA. Now, SOHCAHTOA, you'll notice that there's an S, a C, and a T, just like our S, our C, and our T right here. So that's what they stand for. This S stands for the sine, C stands for the cosine, T stands for the tangent. All right, so the sine is always, notice this O is going to stand for the word opposite. Okay, so sine is going to be your opposite over your H, which stands for hypotenuse. Okay, so that's how we remember this. So the S stands for the opposite over the hypotenuse. The cosine stands for the A, which is your adjacent over your hypotenuse. And the T stands for the O, which is opposite over your adjacent. All right, so I'll do some examples in the next video, but we're going to share this one first.